The Boston Bruins may have lost in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, but once the truth about their injuries came out, fans across the NHL suddenly understood just how brutal this season really was. One by one, the details started emerging after the playoff exit, and honestly, it sounded more like a hospital report than a hockey roster. Nikita Zadorov played through a completely torn MCL. Viktor Arvidsson battled through a fractured rib and even a punctured lung. Elias Lindholm dealt with back problems, while Hampus Lindholm somehow continued skating with a foot fracture that dated all the way back to December. Pavel Zacha fought through a severe high ankle sprain, David Pastrnak played with a groin injury, and Charlie McAvoy may have had the toughest season of them all. McAvoy suffered a broken hand early in the series and still kept playing, even wearing a cast hidden under his glove. That came after months of battling facial injuries that started with a fractured jaw back in November. Every shift looked painful, every game looked like survival. And yet, the Bruins still found a way to win 100 games in Marco Sturm's first season as head coach. That's what makes this season so complicated for Boston fans. On one hand, there's disappointment. The Bruins were bounced in the first round again, and the offensive struggles became impossible to ignore late in the season. The power play collapsed, injuries piled up, and outside of David Pastrnak, no player even crossed the 70-point mark. But on the other hand, there's belief. Because just 1 year ago, this franchise looked completely lost. Boston finished near the bottom of the league with only 76 points and major questions surrounding the future. Fast forward to now, and the Bruins finished with a 4-5-2-7-1-0 record, returning to the playoffs and re-establishing themselves as one of the toughest teams in hockey. Fans watched this group slowly evolve throughout the season. January felt like the turning point, when Boston ripped through the league with an incredible 1 February 11 stretch. March brought another surge. Suddenly, opponents didn't want to play against the Bruins anymore. That physical identity became one of the biggest strengths of the team. Bruins president Cam Neely even admitted it himself. Some teams didn't want to be on the ice with us. But toughness alone won't win a Stanley Cup. And now comes the most important offseason Boston has faced in years. The front office knows exactly what this roster still lacks: elite offensive skill, more speed, and most importantly, a true number one center. Cam Neely openly admitted the Bruins still don't have that centerpiece player down the middle, and whether they develop one internally or find one outside the organization, it's now the top priority. At the same time, difficult decisions are already looming. Veteran winger Viktor Arvidsson revived his career in Boston and became a fan favorite with his relentless energy, but after a strong bounce-back season, he may simply price himself out of Boston's range. Defenseman Andrew P. could also leave in free agency, while younger players like Mason Lohrei have suddenly become major trade rumors. And that's where things get emotional for Bruins fans. Because this team showed heart. They showed resilience. They showed they could fight through almost anything. But they also showed they're still one step away from becoming true Stanley Cup contenders again. Now the pressure shifts to the front office. Can Boston add the skill and speed this team desperately needs? Can Marco Sturm build on a surprisingly successful first season? And can the Bruins finally turn grit into another championship run? One thing is certain. After everything this team played through, nobody in Boston is questioning the effort anymore. Now they're waiting for the next move. Hamare channel subscribe Karna Mad Bulna.